Here's a summary of the transmission from the game director that we got. So, it's all about progression. I'm going to put this up. It's all about progression. I already read through of it, and Arrowhead sees two different types of progression. Community progression and player progression. This community progression is the progression the community does throughout the entire Galactic War to liberate planets and sectors entirely. So, the community is literally needing the community to progress. But player progression is your own individual progression through levels or war bonds, or you individually helping the community to level up through that community progression. So, in order to help with community progression, they're going to be introducing a use for these screens on your ship that literally has had no use before this. These screens on your ship are going to show you, I'm just going to double check, Galactic War campaigns. They're going to give you a summary of what they are. So, Galactic War campaigns will last roughly 1 to 3 weeks, and their intention is that it will always be clear what the active campaign is, how it's going, what the outcomes have been, and what is at risk. Usually, people before would join in a major order or an objective like defending Super Earth or Cyberstan. With this, it will give you information on why, on what will result from it, what has resulted from it, and what could we lose from it. So this screen will give you all the information that you need about major orders that are going on and about what their objectives are. And this will expand upon new things that are coming, such as Planet Warfronts. Planet Warfronts are going to be specific to planets and will give us more intricate details into how the Galactic War shapes up. Also, I forgot to mention this in my original recording. There will be rewards through these Galactic War campaigns, and the first reward we'll be working towards is a new FRV. Now, I leaked some FRVs in a leaks video I did earlier, and the potential FRV we could be unlocking is the first potential FRV we could be getting is the FRV Heavy, where it's a heavily armored FRV with a heavy machine gun on top of it, but I'm hypothesizing it moves slower. There's the FRV Supply, where it has a supply pack in the back of it. It has an automatic gun on top of it that automatically shoots stuff around it. And there's the FRV Flamer, where it has a flamethrower on top of it, and it looks like it's straight out of Mad Max. I leaked these in one of my old videos called April War Bond Leaks Plus Theories, so feel free to check that out if you want to see more potential stuff that Arrowhead could add later on in this big update here. So there will be different types of missions that will be on these planets. So defender missions, those will be missions that are in already liberated territory that we've already claimed from the enemy. Frontline war will mean missions that are on the front lines, so going from liberated areas into unliberated areas, and then behind enemy lines is missions in the enemy territory that we haven't liberated yet. So with the combination of these, we can solidify specific sectors of a planet or specific planets from other planets and be able to have more intricate choices in how the Galactic War shapes up. So that's what's coming so far in community progression, along with a bunch more that has been stated, and it's going to allow us to change the way that we strategize defeating the enemies of tyranny, or no, the allies of whatever, the bad guys. Another upside of these Planet Warfronts is that the game masters will still have the ability to tweak everything with that and be able to put twists and turns on things that you're working towards, and reaching liberation goals. That's what we have to do on these Planet Warfronts in the specific territories. Liberation goals, when we reach them. So if we reach liberating a city within an X amount of time, or disabling enemy artillery in one location, will unlock other operations in other locations and make it easier for us to liberate those other locations. Now, player progression. Player progression is very important because if players don't have anything to progress for, then they don't really have a reason to play the game for themselves. And so they'll only join to contribute a bit to the major order, and then they'll leave. And it's also kind of a bit inconsistent. So with your personal orders, sometimes it'd have, well, for example, kill 100 Bile Titans, and then your squad didn't have that at all. They just said kill 3 Terminids. And so they killed 3 Terminids, but you still have to go and blow up 100 Bile Titans. And that results in you running across the map and wasting all the reinforcers over trying to kill Bile Titans. So there's going to be a new system that they're going to change this into called personal campaign progression. So the intent for this, quote, the intent is for every Galactic War campaign to come with a personal progression reward track. That way, even if the community fails to reach a larger goal, players can still do their part toward their personal goals and get rewarded with cool things to mark their participation in various campaigns. If you work towards destroying the automatons in Cyberstan, for example, you might get a skin on your gun or something, or a cape, or something cosmetic for you to show that, yo, I did this. I was there and I helped it. And you'll have individual objectives to still complete, I'm pretty sure. And so personal campaign progression is going to be coming later on this year. Super Destroyers. So let's get back to the ships. Super Destroyers are going to be extended by having customization and more gameplay progression. So the issue is that everyone has the same progression path with basically no difference between anyone or any ability to adapt to how different people play the game. I use the spear gun almost every single time when I'm dropping on a planet. Other people, not so much. So I might benefit from a super destroyer that has specifically less support weapon cooldown time, because then that means I can call in my spear gun faster. And all the ships look all the same. Everyone has, if you level up everything, you can't tell your ship apart from someone else's except for the name. Even then, you might have the same name. So for that reason, Arrowhead is going to be overhauling the ship module system and will change how it works. Quote, by adding more player agency and specifically increasing the offerings to players to progress. Not only that, we're also adding more ships. The biggest shift we've done internally is we now have a dedicated ship team working on the first new ship. Our intention is that each new ship will have their own unique progression paths, specializations, and customizations. And if you like the ships, we want to keep adding them, at least the ones we've planned so far. So their different ships could be specific things based on specific parts of the game. I just really feel like I'm repeating myself. So one ship might benefit you cooling down sentries more than cooling in offensives, because its sentries, so ship A could have sentries cooldown be 50% less than ship B, because ship B is prioritizing more of doing offensive stratagems like orbital lasers or stuff like that, you know? We don't know when the new free ships will reach our hands, but Mikhail will be sharing more details later on this year for sure. Another thing that's coming to ships is customization. I forgot to mention this in my original recording, but customization, yeah, you're going to get a bunch of new stuff that you can use to customize your ship so it can be more intricate to you. It can be more detailed to you and more focused around you, especially around these new developments they're putting in the Super Destroyers to make them more unique per your playstyle. So for what these customizations are, we don't know. There's been nothing told. I haven't seen any leaks or anything, but as soon as I find out, I'll tell you guys, I promise. And one thing that is left is stuff in Helldivers 2 that we'll be seeing very, very soon. Helldivers will be able to use assisted reload as long as either the carrier or the reloader of the weapon have the corresponding backpack. So if you're the reloader and you have a backpack, you can use it. If you're the carrier of the weapon and you have a backpack, you can still be team reloaded. More emotes. Helldivers will have 8 emote slots instead of 4. Does this mean that we'll have more of a wheel? So we'll have more slots on the wheel, or 2 pages? I hope 2 pages, because I think the 4 is really basic to just, I want this slot, flick my mouse in that direction, because it takes up a quarter of your mouse movement. So I think adding 2 pages, so I hold B and tap R or something, or hold B and right click and it changes the page. That'd be awesome. Reducing dead input on stimming. I am specifically loving this change because I hate it when I'm just trying to stim and it causes all of my inputs to just lock out completely, okay? Except for dive. I can dive while I'm stimming, and even then that's pointless, because surely I'm able to stim while I'm diving as a hell diver. I'm jabbing something into my neck. Why can't I jump off of both my feet into a random direction and still stim? Doesn't make sense. A bit further down the line, Arrowhead is tackling stratagem bouncing, because clearly their stratagem bouncing implementation has been procedural, and so there is some pre-designated stuff you can't throw a stratagem ball on, like the tops of rocks in distant geometry or stuff that you're not actually supposed to land on. They're tackling that by making stratagem bouncing more and more robust and not so random all the time. Helipod steering, finally, you'll be able to steer properly. Like stratagem bouncing, they're tackling it to help fix it and get it out of the game. Improving enemy and player traversal, which includes environmental collision and reducing movement penalties on grass and vegetation. I want hunters to not see me through rocks or through terrain. Like if I'm on a ledge and there's a hunter below me that hasn't seen me yet, but it gets alerted to my position, or like there is literally a rock obscuring the hunter's view of me, I don't want the hunter jumping over that rock and directly onto me, or jumping through the dunes on Ashorn to reach my body and slice me in half and kill me. Increasing the level cap to 300. So they're doubling the level cap while also adding all this new stuff. So surely that level cap will add new leveling progression and rewards to it as well. Maybe, maybe not. Economy and resource improvements. Cool. Fixes to the Warbond and Superstore menus that make them easier to navigate. I want it so that when I'm in a Warbond and I have unlocked pages 1 and 2, I don't want to open the Warbond to page 1. I want to open the Warbond to page 3, where I can instantly unlock everything, where I can instantly be at everything I have it unlocked. And then when I unlock page 3, it just goes back to showing me to page 1. Okay? Thank you, Arrowhead. Closed beta testing that focuses on stability and balancing, and that includes getting beta test feedback from our propaganda commanders. So, propaganda commanders are apparently being included in closed beta testing, which is news to me. I did not know that. Is this a new thing? I don't know. Last few words from Mikhail. While this is not an exhaustive list for everything we have planning, I hope it gives you some insight into what's coming up next for progression and some of the reasoning behind the path we've chosen. I can't wait to hear and read what you think and to get this into your hands. See you on the battlefield. I like this. This is really hype to me. I am excited to be getting new aspects of the game and new progression in the game so I can work towards the next thing. Because I still have a couple things to unlock on my ship, but I just haven't unlocked them yet, because once I do that, what's there next to do for my own personal progression? Leveling up all my weapons? Okay, then what? Leveling up or unlocking all the war bonds? Then what? I don't ever want there to be an end to my personal progression in this game. So I'm intentionally limiting myself, because I realize that once I reach that, there's nothing else. Once I defeat the Ender Dragon in Minecraft, every single player level I open up, then it's just going to be the same thing. Work up to defeating the Ender Dragon. Then you beat the game. I have only defeated the Ender Dragon like twice, and that was on multiplayer servers. I haven't actually done it myself solo, because quite frankly, I don't want to and I don't need to. I have everything I need in Helldivers 2 and it's fine. So I don't feel a need for me to progress myself to the end, because then it feels complete. Then I feel like there's less effort I have to. I'm rambling. To sum up the video, there's a lot more progression coming into the game pretty soon, and the stuff that isn't coming into the game pretty soon is going to be coming later this year or early next year. And there's going to be some fixes to stuff that they're focusing on specifically in testing, and that to me seems pretty great. So thank you all very much for watching. What do you guys think of all this information and all this news? I think that it's great that we're going to be getting a bunch more progression into the game. We'll just have to see how Arrowhead implements it to see if people think it's the right way of progression. But again, what do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below. If you've seen other people's insights on this, feel free to clue me into it. Join my Discord server and you can chat about it there. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.